One crisp autumn morning, Jack woke up to the unmistakable smell of freshly made sandwiches wafting through the air. His mom had just made him a ham and cheese sandwich, his favorite, and he couldn't wait to dig into it. With a smile on his face, he packed his school bag and headed downstairs, eager to start his day. But when he entered the kitchen, he saw something strange. The sandwich was gone. It had been on the counter only a moment ago, sitting neatly in its plastic wrap, waiting to be eaten. But now, it was nowhere to be found. "Mom!" Jack yelled, hoping for an explanation. His mom walked in, looking equally confused. "Did you take my sandwich?" Jack asked, his eyebrows furrowed in suspicion. His mom, looking entirely too calm for someone who was supposed to be an accomplice in the sandwich heist, shook her head. "I haven't touched it, Jack. Maybe you misplaced it." Jack narrowed his eyes. "I didn't misplace it. It was right here." He looked around the kitchen, but the sandwich was nowhere in sight. His mind raced. Had it simply disappeared? Was there some sort of sandwich-stealing ghost in the house? No, that was ridiculous. Sandwich-stealing ghosts weren't real. Could it have been the dog? His mom suggested, raising an eyebrow. Jack rushed over to their golden retriever, Rufus, who was lounging lazily on the living room couch. He sniffed the air around Rufus's face. No sandwich smell. "Nope, Rufus is clear," Jack said, shaking his head. "This is something bigger. This is a mystery." Determined to solve the case, Jack decided to launch a full-scale investigation. He started by questioning everyone in the house, which, in this case, was only his mom and Rufus. "Where were you at the time of the sandwich's disappearance?" Jack asked his mom, playing the role of a detective. "I was in the garden, watering the plants. I couldn't have taken it," his mom replied, looking amused. "But you know, your cousin Amy was here yesterday. Maybe she left something behind." Jack turned to the dog. "And what about you, Rufus? What do you know about this?" Rufus, in his usual fashion, just wagged his tail and looked completely uninterested in the situation. Jack sighed dramatically. He was on his own in this one. After a few minutes of pondering, Jack's eyes lit up. He'd had a sudden realization. Maybe the sandwich hadn't been stolen at all. Maybe it had been. Eaten. But by whom? It seemed highly unlikely that his mom would have eaten it without saying something, and Rufus was still lounging on the couch, looking far too lazy to have eaten an entire sandwich. That's when it hit him. His brother, Ben. Ben, a sneaky little troublemaker, was always up to something. If anyone had taken the sandwich, it was probably him. Jack rushed upstairs to Ben's room, flinging open the door without knocking. "Ben, where's my sandwich?" Jack demanded. Ben, who had been sitting at his desk playing video games, looked up innocently. "What sandwich?" "The one Mom made me. It was on the counter, and now it's gone." "Did you take it?" Ben furrowed his brow. "No, I haven't seen any sandwich. Why would I take your gross ham and cheese thing?" Jack could see that Ben was lying. His cheeks were slightly flushed, and he was fidgeting in his seat. But before Jack could press further, a soft rustling noise came from the corner of the room. "What was that?" Jack asked suspiciously, narrowing his eyes. Ben froze, his eyes wide with panic. Jack turned and walked toward the noise. To his surprise, he found a half-eaten ham and cheese sandwich sitting on top of a pile of laundry. "Ben, what is this?" Jack exclaimed. Ben shrugged, still looking guilty. Okay, I might have accidentally taken it, but it wasn't that good. I was just gonna give it back." Jack stood there for a moment, glaring at Ben. Then, as if he couldn't hold it in any longer, he burst out laughing. You ate my sandwich and didn't even tell me? Are you kidding me?" Jack laughed until he was nearly out of breath. "You're a monster." Ben, sheepish but relieved that the confrontation was over, smirked. "Well, it was just sitting there, and you were taking too long, so I thought I'd save it for you." Jack grinned, realizing that while his brother might be a sandwich-stealing troublemaker, he wasn't all bad. After all, he did leave half of it behind. "Next time, just ask if you want it," Jack said with a wink. "But I'm telling Mom you stole my lunch." Ben groaned. "You wouldn't dare." Jack smirked, holding up the remaining half of the sandwich. "I already did. I hope this gave you a laugh. Would you like me to tweak anything or add more details?"